Hello, my name is Vanessa Atrisco Andrade, and I'll be going over our lesson plan. So our content standard is grade 3, standard 4. Students understand the role of rules and laws in our daily lives and the basic structure of the US government. Substandard 6, describe the lives of American heroes who took risks to secure freedoms. Our learning objective is scholars will be able to describe the lives of American heroes who took risks to secure freedoms through blog journals, diagrams, or flashcards with a minimum of 5 facts. The level of balloons applied in our learning objective is level 1, remember and understand. The co-teaching model used is team teaching. We changed our evidence of mastery. So it is students will choose between blog journals, diagrams, or flashcards to answer the prompt with a minimum of 5 facts. And then for our evaluation, we kept everything the same, the formative assessment strategies, but we changed our summative assessment. So our summative assessment, students will choose between blog journals, diagrams, or flashcards to answer the prompt with a minimum of 5 facts. And then for our elaboration, everything changed. So we decided to work on 3 activities. Estrella got blog journals, I got diagrams, and Ashley got flashcards. So we added our script and we added more mega cognitive statements. But I don't want to go into much detail because the focus is our explanation for this discussion board. So I will move on to the explanation. So our explanation, we broke it down into 3 categories, which was vocabulary, parent share questions, and convergent questions. So my section was vocabulary, and I wrote my script. So I'll start. Good morning, class. Today we'll go over a couple of vocabulary words you might have come across in yesterday's activity. Does anyone remember any terms you came across? Possible student answer, yes, I remember the word protest. Perfect. Do we know what protest means? Student, no. Teacher, okay, we will go over protest and other vocabulary words so that we all feel comfortable using them in our future activities. Then I will proceed to put up the slide that has the listed vocabulary terms, which are hero, protest, boycott, advocate, revolution, and tactics. I will continue to say, on Google Classroom, I have posted a Google document that has these words listed. As we learn the definitions of each word, fill in the Google document. I will have the PowerPoint, put the definitions on the board, and in between each slide, I will ask students if they have any questions. And I will continue. Say, now let's start with hero. A hero is a person who is brave, admired, and looked up to by others. Protest means when a group of people come together to show others, society, that they are against an idea or event. Boycott is used to describe people refusing to buy, use, or participate in something to show they are protesting. So we can see how protest and boycott work with one another. Advocate refers to someone who fights for something or someone. Revolution is when a large group of the population, the number of people in the city, rises up against the government. And lastly, tactics are the methods or actions that are planned to reach a goal. Do you have any questions on the vocabulary terms or need further clarification? And I would hope at this point students shake their heads indicating that they don't have any questions, but if they do, we will go over the questions that they have and provide further clarification and examples. So I will continue to say, now that we have learned the new vocabulary terms, we will review with a Kahoot. Bring out your Chromebooks and use the code on the smartboard to log into the Kahoot. We will begin once everyone logs in, and then we will continue to play Kahoot. And I will respond. The first place winner is, and I will insert the student's name. Congratulations. I am glad to see we all scored well on the Kahoot. Now we'll move on to parent share with Miss Estrella. So that is our transition to Miss Estrella. She will work on parent share, and she wrote down her script. I will go over the parent share questions we written down that she will be going over with the students. And it's, do you think Martin Luther King Jr. was a hero? What was Martin Luther King Jr.'s goal? what was Martin Luther King's main accomplishment, and why do you think Martin Luther King was motivated? We also wrote some possible answers that students might respond to. And then after Sarah has done, she will move on. She will pass it over to Ashley, which she will go over convergent questions. And the convergent questions are, when was Martin Luther King Jr. born? Did Martin Luther King Jr. receive a degree? Did Martin Luther King Jr. write a book? What did Martin Luther King do for the African American community? What were some challenges he faced? For our barriers, our first barrier is, even though the majority of the students are middle/upper class, there are students who are low income. So there is a possibility that they may not have access to charge their Chromebooks at home if their electricity bill is not paid, or if they just forgot to charge it. Our solution would be students whose Chromebooks are not charged will be allowed to move their desk close to an outlet. Our second barrier is minority in the classroom. The minority of the classroom consists of African American students, so they may feel uncomfortable when their race/ethnicity is mentioned in a negative or positive way. So our solution is to use appropriate terms and no slang terms to make them feel comfortable. And we will encourage our students to use those appropriate terms as well. And our third barrier is students with hearing impairment can struggle with not being able to understand what the teacher is doing or saying. So our solution is teachers have communication with children about what she/he needs from us. We will provide a device specifically for hearing and staying in close range to the child. We can also have communication devices such as for the student, such as handheld vibrating unit. And my megacognitive statements were, students will first be exposed to vocabulary through presentation. However, Kahoot is a good game to get students to recall those vocabulary words so that they feel comfortable using them in their discussions and in the elaboration section that follows. I was also thinking of probably having the students do the research for and find the definition on their own for the vocabulary terms, because this section should be student and teacher centered, but I feel like it is more teacher centered in my area. So I will make that adjustment. The second statement is, since there is a possibility of having one African American student in the classroom, they may feel targeted. However, we decided to choose MLK because we want the students from the minority of the group to not feel as the outcast. Estrella wrote, understand there will be consequences if terms and concepts are used negatively toward other students, and what they will not be tolerated. And Ashley wrote, how do we have our students be as comfortable as possible when teaching MLK? So that is our explanation, and we hope to break it down to 2 days, 15 minutes each. We might need to adjust the time depending on the length each section will take, but thank you for listening and have a good day.